I thought some people might be interested in this sort of thing. It's basically a WD MyNet 900 Central 1TB storage router. Really nice piece of kit. Recently given to me by a friend who was so grateful that I managed to pull some lost data off a memory card, which was really valuable to him. And he's had one of these for a couple of years now, and I've got to say, it's a really nice piece of equipment. So this is my first ever unboxing video, so I'll apologise if I screw up or whatever. But and I'm also shooting this on a mobile, so with no hands-free option, so this is going to be interesting. But anyhow, as you can see, brand new and sealed. Looks like it'll be a very nice piece of kit. Now let's see if I can actually open this with a pair of scissors without... oh, this is going to be interesting, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to put down the camera for a second while I actually remove the shrink wrap. So, if you'll bear with me for a second, I'm sorry for the black footage, but this is what happens when you unfortunately don't have access to something like a GoPro. But anyhow, this while I'm doing this device has two 450 megabit channels wireless end networking, which by today's standards is actually quite slow. Although for me, as someone who's used to running who's still running 802.11g wireless networking at 54 megabits per second, this will actually give a reassuring speed boost. Aside from having storage and usual routing functions, it can function as a router for your home internet connection. Could even be useful for small businesses, although I don't know how this would keep up with that. But here we go. So there we go. Oh, right. Okay, I'm sorry about that minor interruption in service. Okay, let's just see now. Why is it always so hard to do things one-handed? There we go. There's the plastic off. Oh. Now, how do I get this open? Right, there we go. Open the flap. Inside, we have a box that's quite difficult to open. Start here, which I presume that's the, software CD with all the programs you would normally require for Windows and Mac. Oh, come on, guys! I wish you'd provide software for Linux too. I mean, even if it's just a web browser, even if it's just a simple web interface. I mean, I know this has that on there. I'll have to update the firmware. Here we have the technical support and warranty guide. All that massive sheet of paper with loads of regulatory and warranty information that nobody ever reads. Know me, I probably will, but that's... Anyhow, so inside we have the router itself. Nicely packed. This is probably going to be quite difficult to do hands-free, so... Right, here we go. That's obviously the accessory box. So I'll just stick this aside for the moment. And inside the... there's a bit of a dent there, but my friend did say he ordered this from PC World. That's the UK computer supplier, part of DSG Retail Group, and they're not known for handling stuff particularly well. Anyhow, what we have here is that's a Cat5 Ethernet cable, possibly Cat6 as well if you're will probably handle a Cat6 connection. And we have a power supply. Oh, with a direct UK plug. You don't normally see that nowadays. Another bit of cardboard. And now we have the router itself. And a box that can now be put aside. There we go. Let's just be very careful. I mean, you'll notice I'm being very careful in the way I'm handling this because of the knowledge that it does contain a 1TB laptop hard drive, according to teardowns that I've seen online. And so there it is. Actually, quite a nice little piece of equipment. I mean, for size reference, this is the driver CD, which is the size of most ISP CDs, which anyone who was around in the 90s may well remember. The ones that AOL always sent out and threw in magazines, and many people used them as coffee coasters, but never for accessing the internet. But that gives you an idea as to the size. It is, off the top of my head, without a ruler to hand, it is about it is probably about 250mm wide by 250mm wide by maybe 150mm deep, and approximately 30, possibly, well, about 40mm high, as you can see. For those who prefer old school measurements, that's about 12.5 inches across by maybe about 9-10 inches deep and an inch and a half high. On the back we have a USB 2 port, which can be used for charging and obviously also mounting external USB devices. Nowadays with USB 3 it probably won't be so fast as many people would expect. Kensington lock port, which is always useful. Other than that, we have the usual indicator lights from the left to the right, which it may not be so clear from the video footage, even though this is HD. Power, Wi-Fi, internet access. The sync light will probably be mainly reference synchronizing with devices running the WD apps, various other things, and of course on the right-hand side there you've got the hard drive access light, which is always a useful feature, particularly if, like me, you're very, very careful when it comes to unmounting things properly. Other than that, there's no other ports on the side. And on the underside, if I can just... as can be seen, there's the router itself. And, sorry, I will apologise to anyone who's curious, but I'm not so keen on people seeing the serial numbers. But as you can see, there is a fan in the back. There is the inlet for a fan in the underside, which will keep it cool. It does apparently run quite hot in use, so that will be of use indeed. Let's just pop that down. So, admittedly, maybe not so widely distributed today. Certainly not in the UK and Europe. Might still be available in parts of the United States. This video is probably mostly of relevance to those in more Middle and Far Eastern countries where this sort of product is still widely sold. I mean, just because it's no longer in most Western retailers' catalogues, it doesn't mean to say it's not a useful product. And again, as shown here, I mean, I just received this the other day from a friend who got me one because he was really grateful that. Was really grateful for the data recovery work I'd done for him, and as he's had one of these for a few years and I'd used it previously and practically fell in love with it, so I'm so glad to have one of my own now. Anyhow, so that's the WD MyNet N900 Central 1TB version. The 2TB version is exactly the same, it just has a 2TB hard drive in it. I suppose theoretically, if you don't mind voiding your warranty, or once your device is out of warranty, you could always put a different hard drive in there if you wanted. So, I mean, one of these could potentially be useful for group meetings. I mean, say if you stick a 250 gig hard drive in it, you could use it to share content around groups, working groups. Very useful in the field. So yeah, there you go. So that's it for my first teardown video. Just in case anyone wanted to double check the accessories, there they are, along with lots of packaging. That's it for my first teardown video, and I hope you enjoyed it.